I want to welcome everybody to a very special Boss Fight Live today. Today is our Little Prince Day edition, and we're really excited to partner with some special folks today to get ourselves all excited about the Little Prince. We're going to discuss our favorite book, of course. We're going to share some info into our brand new toy line, and we'll give a sneak peek at what's to come. First up, we have Tomas Riviera. Tomas is the head of the Little Prince licensing and estate, and he has a very special connection to the book.
Hi everyone, my name is Tomas Rivière. It means river in English. I am from Paris. I work with the Little Prince. I've been working with the Little Prince for the past 12 years now. I am head of licensing for many countries like France and the US. And I have a special connection, as you said, with the Little Prince because Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote the book, was my grandmother's uncle. So it's been in my family for forever. And the funny thing is, when I was little, it was kind of normal, you know, to have the Little Prince and Antoine de Saint-Exupéry in my family. It was not something special. It was just a regular thing. And so, you know, I had no real connection to the Little Prince because it was just the book on every coffee table in every house at my cousins and, you know, everywhere. So I realized many years later that the book was such a phenomenon and the book was such, you know, people who read the Little Prince, they fell in love with the Little Prince. So it was not obvious when I was a kid because the Little Prince was part of my, you know, everyday life. So, and I remember when I was doing some business school studies later on, everybody in my family was like, "Oh, you're doing some business school stuff. You will take care of the licensing in 10 years, etc." And I was like, "Oh, stop with the Little Prince." And you know, it happened at some point. So yeah, I've been working with this incredible book, incredible story, incredible everything for the past 12 years. It's a pleasure. It's like a dream job. Because everybody who read The Little Prince has a story to share and has a special thing with The Little Prince. People who work with The Little Prince love The Little Prince. And yeah, it's a dream job.
Great. Thank you, Tomas. Next, it's my privilege to introduce Jill Collins, a partner at Licensing Works and someone our team has worked very closely with to make all of this happen. So Jill, maybe you'd like to share your connection with the Little Prince as well.
Sure. Thanks so much, Meredith. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jill Collins, and I work with a company called Licensing Works. And we have the pleasure of supporting Tomas and the team over at Little Prince Licensing by building partnerships from promotional to license to publicity to really share the message of the Little Prince to consumers primarily in the US and in North America. So we're really excited to have Boss Fight on board to support those initiatives and really help us connect with fans and consumers with amazing product and amazing outreach and messaging through opportunities like this. So thank you for having me today, and thank you all for coming to watch today. We're excited to talk about something that's really near and dear to our hearts.
Finally, we want to introduce the always amazing Katrina Aranya. She's a partner and art director at Boss Fight Studio. So Katrina, could you share your connection with the Little Prince?
Sure. My name is Katrina Arana. Like Meredith said, I'm partner and creative art director. I'm also the lead designer on the Little Prince. So it's my job to take the beautiful illustrations and the story and make it into a three-dimensional object that everybody can look at and feel like they've gotten something tangible to hold out of this story.
So that is our panel today. Now that we have introductions out of the way, I thought we'd jump into our discussion. And, you know, one of the things that the Little Prince has taught us is there's all these amazing values from the book. So I thought, Tomas, maybe you could share an overview of the Little Prince values and how you see those working today.
the funny thing about The Little Prince, it's such a small book. When you look at the book, it's something like 80 pages, and you say, oh, it's going to be very easy. It looks like a book for the kids, but it's not only a book for the kids. It's a book that cross generations, and that's a book you buy and offer to people you love. That's a book you want to share with people you like, and because of the values, of course, of The Little Prince. Because when you read The Little Prince, it's like Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wrote the book to you. And, you know, the book, this book has been translated in so many languages, something like 400 different languages. You can read the book in English, you can read the book in Spanish, you can read the book in French. Everybody all over the world, when you read the book, it makes you cry, it makes you feel good, it makes you think. It's a book for the kids and a book for adults. And if you read it at 6, at 12, at 25, 40, at 60, you will learn something different. You will see something different, and it will change your life forever. And what I like about The Little Prince, the values I like are friendship, because it teaches you friendship, how friendship is important and precious. Love, of course, it's like, you know, when you read The Little Prince, you understand everything about love, about, you know, the difference between men and women, how they think, how they react, how they love each other. It's a book about creating a link between men, women, all over the world, because it teaches you to see beyond what you look, beyond how you dress, beyond how you feel, how you think. And there's so many things in such a small book, you know. And the values I prefer, I could tell, is the book was written 77 years ago, and it was during World War II. Saint-Exupéry was already thinking about the world to come. You know, he was sure the war was going to end, and the message was to take care of the planet. When the Little Prince wakes up in the morning, he takes care of the planet. You know, he cuts the bad seeds. He's taking care of the planet. He's taking care of the volcano, of the rose. That's such a great message. You know, it's not, you know, everybody's talking about being responsible, but, you know, taking care of the planet right now. But can you imagine 77 years ago? It was something so new and so modern. So that's the value I prefer.
Fantastic. Thank you. Jill, you've had such a lovely connection with this book as well, and working with this brand for so long. You know, how does it make you feel? What's your favorite value?
I certainly agree with everything that Tomas said, that there is just this amazing interconnectivity that links people together, people of all different kinds, around a common spirit or a common theme. One of the things that particularly resonates personally for me is the way that Saint-Exupéry values creativity and uses creativity to connect to people. Not everybody is openly creative. I'm not great at drawing. I'm not great at singing. But yet, when I work on this particular brand and when I connect with the team, whether it's on the partner side of Boss Fight or it's on my client side with Tomas and the team, there's an opportunity for me to be creative. And, you know, Saint-Exupéry has a wonderful part in the book early on where he talks about wanting to draw, and he didn't draw very well. It wasn't well received at the beginning, and he's encouraged to draw again. And so I just really love the opportunity that everybody has a right and an opportunity and a gift to be creative in their own way, however that is, and that they can, within the bound or the universe of this book, connect on grounds of creativity. And there is such an inclusive, wonderful universe that's created among fans within this particular book that no matter what your contribution is to the essence or the positivity or the creativity, you have a relationship with other people, and they're very supportive and definitely very welcoming around the brand. So that's my personal favorite part about it, is because everyone can get excited with the talents that they have and make a contribution to help spread the message and celebrate the message that was created so long ago. So that's my personal favorite. And that's one of the reasons why I really love working on this program, and especially working with Boss Fight Studio to see this beloved character come to life.
That's a really great message and takeaway. Katrina, how about you? What's your favorite value kind of feeling from The Little Prince?
Jill and Tomas have already said there are so many lessons. Like every page, there is a completely new lesson that can be learned. There's lessons about cultivating your friendships. Once you've made them, it's your responsibility to take care of them, whether it's with the rose or with the fox. The lessons that Jill mentioned about being creative, and there's lessons with when he goes to every planet about how to look outside of your little world to be bigger and better, and how to take care of the world you're on. For my personal favorite though is there's a quote about all of the grown-ups were once children, but very few of us remember it. And that one is probably the one that resonates the most with me as a toy designer, because it's our job every day to either be thinking like a child and creating for children, or thinking like the adult collectors we have who are trying to hold on to a little bit of their childhood through their collections and through their purchase of toys or playing with toys or making toys, whatever they do. So yeah, that's probably my very favorite.
Fantastic. And I've seen a couple of ideas come in through the audience. There's one here, it's given me guidance through the seasons of my life. And I think that really resonates this book quite well, because it is, for children, but it's also for adults. And as we reread as adults, it becomes a very special piece. So thank you all for your thoughts there. I think part of the book is this iconic art that came out of it. So something that I always think about is, how do you take iconic art like The Little Prince and translate that into physical items like toys? So Jill, maybe as the lead licensor here, what do you look for in physical items to represent this iconic art, and how do you make sure you're doing the brand justice?
So we look for it on we look for appropriate partners who are able to take the values and the iconic art of The Little Prince and elevate it even further in the medium that they're choosing to use to capture it. We look for partners in a couple of ways. Certainly from a very physical and product perspective, we look for partners that are generating the highest quality materials, partners that are using the highest quality factories. Certainly that elevated level is something, because The Little Prince is such a treasure, it's important that everything that is a reflection of The Little Prince has that same kind of quality behind it. But on top of that, we also really look at the people and the partners behind the products themselves, because we know the products will take on that multi-generational ethereal quality and really translate over time, like the book does, if the people behind the product also reflect the values of The Little Prince. So certainly we look for people that are incredibly creative, that have a real spirit of generosity. One of the things that I think we'll talk about, but that's a huge part of the foundation of The Little Prince, is the spirit of giving back. And so every partner that we work with gives a portion of the proceeds of each product sold to either a charity of their choice or to the foundation established by The Little Prince that has raised over $8 million and has done over 50 products worldwide, from starting schools in Somalia, working with visually impaired children, to also working with our partner today that we're doing a lot of work with, the Ronald McDonald House. And so when we start to talk to partners, we not only look at what they want to make, but the people behind it. Also, oftentimes when we start to talk about the story of the Little Prince, immediately we know we're in the right place with a partner when they go, my grandmother read that to me, or my mother read that to me, or I read it in it's part of Common Core in the US. So most students read it in 5th through 9th grade. And once they've read it, you just see that there is this connection and that it resonates. And so we know that when we have someone that's really passionate and that gets it and has joined this, you know, multi-million person fan base of kind of connected souls throughout the world, we know that with the right product, the right opportunity, and the right spirit of generosity, we're going to have amazing products that will then further the message. So it's kind of a 3-level thing.
And Katrina, I know you've spent a lot of time over the last year as you design these toys, looking at the art and making sure that you're a good steward here of the brand. So how do you translate that into toys that are still playable and fun?
Well, this was probably one of the most stressful brands to start making because there's such a history and such a worldwide love of it. So you don't want to get a brand like this wrong.
Let that happen. You weren't going to.
So the first step was obviously rereading the book probably 30 times and looking at every illustration and going through and seeing what everybody had to say and what they felt about it. And then after that, taking the resources that were given to us either by Licensing Works or just flipping through the book and looking at illustrations. For those of you that are very familiar with the book, the illustrations are not 3-dimensional. So but they are very soft and welcoming, and to be able to make something physical out of that, it takes a lot of thought. So there were a lot of steps in this, like drawing it for the first time. It probably went through 15 or 20 revisions before we felt like it looked like what we wanted. And then in the sculpt stage, it actually went through 2 different sculptors, both feeling like it's not quite there. It needs a little bit more in the face to look like him. And so it is a challenging process, but it was a fantastic and fun challenge to take on.
By the time Katrina and her team shared everything with us, it was perfect. That we did not make any comments with regard to. So all of this, it just really goes to show the passion and the quality and the place where Boss Fight was coming from on this, because we were thrilled. And Tomas he is comic book guru. You are quite the comic book fan, and we were so excited about this product. And Tomas, we didn't have anything but praise to say when we finally saw it. So those revisions were internal.
Yeah, you need to understand, as Jill said, I am a comic book fan and I collect toys, Little Prince ones, of course, but you know, everything I can get, from Lego to Spawn to Todd McFarlane toys and Marvel Comics things. So yeah, I am a big fan of collecting stuff, and you know, I don't buy anything. You know, I'm very picky about what I get, and what you did on the Little Prince figurine is just perfect.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And I've got a few questions around, are we going to see the toy today? So maybe Katrina, that's a good time for us to start to share some of these upcoming items. So I've got some images I'm going to share on the screen. And I believe we're going to start with the toy that is wave 1.
This board that she's showing right now is actually more of a feature of the base that he's going to come with. It's got a rose that can be removed from the stand and the little circle where the dome can be placed over the rose to protect her. In production, the little dome will be more clear. We just don't have the materials for prototypes to make that perfectly clear item. but you can see that he fits on his little planet with the volcano, the rose, and his fox. So this board is featuring the Little Prince himself, and you can see that he's articulated, he can bend, he's got joints at the shoulders, the arms, the knees, his feet and neck. He can be placed on his stand, he can stand on his own, he can hold his fox, he can be moved in numerous positions. This board doesn't really show because we were dealing with kind of a fragile prototype for photography, but he'll be able to sit and be put in any number of positions. I know, like, I follow a handful of the Little Prince fan groups, and one thing that I noticed that's pretty universal about Little Prince, like toys and product, is people like to take them places. They like to photograph them on vacation, everywhere that they are. And so this figure should be really versatile when it comes to being able to do that.
And I think one thing that we haven't mentioned yet is that this toy is available for pre-order starting today. We're expecting to have that in hand Q1.
I really like this figurine because it looks good. It looks, you know, The Little Prince is a very poetic book. And it's charming, you know, and you need the figurine to look charming and to look like the image you have in your head, in your mind, and the image you have on the book, actually. So to me, it fits, you know, it's exactly the Little Prince, and it's very different from we made figurines, we've been doing figurines for the past 25 years with French licensee, in Japan, in China, everywhere. And every figurine looks different. And they have to look different because that's a boss fight studio style, you know, you need to have your own. And it looks like the Little Prince, and this is your own. And it's one of the first, I'm not sure, but I think it's the first articulated one, because nobody does that. And I'm so glad we have a classic figurine with, you know, you can play with it. It's cool.
It's absolutely beautiful. He's sweet, he's approachable, he's innocent. I mean, just nailed the face. It's wonderful, but he also looks modern and just, we love him. We absolutely love him. You nailed it. You worked hard, and it shows. You nailed it. We love him.
Well, one thing I appreciate really working on this brand is, like Tomas said, that everybody's figure looks different. And it's really refreshing to be able to work on something that is a license, but you can still make look like your own a little bit. And it is really cool to see that there are lots of figures and statues, and they are so unique. They don't look like cookie cutter objects out there.
Yeah, I think these are so exciting. And I know that we're getting a couple questions here around what is upcoming beyond this first pre-order item that we have. So let me share maybe the little moments next.
These are, calling them little moments. The Little Prince, we work on a lot of brands that are their universe is very big. Superhero type things, fantasy type things, where the accessories and the character is what's important to the item. For the Little Prince in the book, it's the small moments that seem to make up this story. Like every page has a new moment with a new lesson. And I had this idea to like capture these moments in a jar. And so that's kind of what you can see here in my crude jar drawing. But the idea is to capture one little piece of the story so that you can collect it on your shelf and look at it.
It's awesome. And let me share the other one, since there are two of them that are in development. Fantastic. And I know we have some folks that are really excited about the next figure that's coming as well. So let me see if I can pull up. Oh, hang on. It looks like I actually don't have the jacket pulled up. Hang on one moment. Let me get that real quick. All right, and let's share the screen. Oh, it is not letting me. little technical difficulty. Well, we'll add it in here afterwards. But I know these toys are really exciting for everybody to see. We want to make sure that we have plenty of time for you guys to ask questions of Tomas and Jill and Katrina. So go ahead and type in any questions that you have in the chat window. And I know that while we're waiting for some questions to come in, you guys have mentioned a little bit around the Little Prince Ronald McDonald House charities. So Trina, maybe you could share how Boss Fight is going to be supporting that over the next little bit.
Okay, well, we're supporting it in a couple ways. First, a percentage of all of our pre-orders will be going to the Ronald McDonald House. That's just as it is. We're also going to be raffling off the painted prototype, this one-of-a-kind prototype for the Little Prince toy. It is the figure that you can see in all the photographs here. You can buy those raffle tickets on our site, and the winner will be drawn by random for this one-of-a-kind item.
Yeah, and tickets can be purchased through the Boss Fight shop through July 6th at noon. So for 1 week, we're going to have that open. And then we'll, as Katrina said, draw one randomly selected winner to get this piece of Little Prince and Boss Fight history, which is really exciting. So all proceeds from this go directly to the Ronald McDonald House of Chicagoland in Northwest Indiana. And I know, Jill, you wanted to kind of share why that particular location was so important to the Little Prince. So do you want to share a little bit there?
We had an opportunity to work with a particular Ronald McDonald House in Chicago, the one near Comer Medical Center. And unfortunately, early in 2019, they experienced a flood and it completely destroyed the home. And for those of you that are familiar with the Ronald McDonald House charities, you know that these are a series of homes that welcome families of critically ill children. They're established primarily near hospitals so that families can stay for free and be near their child while they're having all kinds of usually prolonged treatment. They also, there's food available there, friendships with other families that are kind of going through the same thing, opportunities for resources. It's amazing, amazing charity. And this particular location in Chicago was flooded. And we had the opportunity to work closely with the home and their architect when the house was being remodeled. We worked very closely with them. They asked us to theme it, if they could theme it towards the Little Prince. So we worked very closely to build in a lot of the inspirational and calming messages associated with the Little Prince into the fabric of the home. Everything from a wall, like you saw before, that you can draw on for Draw Me a Sheep and It's Dry Erase for children. This is the lobby. You can see the prince ascending into the stars from with a quote. So a lot of quotes are woven into the house. And then each of the rooms, the bedrooms have art in various different forms. So classic art from the books, as well as kind of new iterations of art provided by Little Prince Licensing, and then quotes to inspire. And it just really creates kind of a warm, serene environment. And we were so thankful that they were interested in working with us and that they felt so connected to the brand that we were really excited to work with them. And the thing that's so neat when we really talk about the spirit of generosity and how partners work together, when we mentioned that we were doing this, partners said, how can we help? Can we be a part of it? Can we, they just immediately wanted to work closely with the house to support the families that are there. And so this really, Little Prince Day this year kicks off our opportunity to really extend that relationship beyond the walls of the house, to really work closely with the families through the giving of financial support for products sold, through donations of product, as well as other ways that our partners are supporting and getting the message out of the good work that they do, because it's very much in line with the little prince's message and his spirit of generosity and mission.
Fantastic. And I know the entire Boss Fight team is really excited about kind of this opportunity to give back and to work closely. So this is really exciting for us as well. So continue to send in your questions via chat. I'm going to start kind of the Q&A portion here and asking some. So Tomas, we have a question here that you talked a lot about the different products for the Little Prince that are out there. What's your favorite item that's been produced so far?
Actually, my favorite product is a very, very weird one, and it's a very small licensee. We work with over 300 licensees all over the world, everywhere in the world, in Brazil, in Japan, in Hong Kong, in China, in the US, of course. We're working with a non-profit organization, and they want to protect some variety of baobab trees. And we have baobab seeds. We are selling baobab seeds. So people can, have their own baobabs at home, in your apartment and everything. It's like bonsai, small ones. And I don't know, I have one and at home in my living room. And I like that. I like the idea to have a baobab at home, because it's such a symbolic thing in the book.
Awesome. And Jill, do you have a favorite product that you've seen come out of the Little Prince here?
Oh my goodness, there are so many, because like Katrina mentioned, while they all embody the spirit and the look and the feel of the Little Prince, and they're connected with Little Prince licensing and the estate when they're developed, so they all have kind of that a common look and feel. They're all very unique in a lot of ways as well. I'm super excited, I have to say, about the Boss Fight figure because we've really wanted this type of an iteration in the US market for some time, and Boss Fight really brought it to life. So I'm actually most excited to see this one come to life, though that we do have a lot of wonderful things. We did a great program with Le Sport Sac with over 50 different bags worldwide that all had quotes. They were messenger bags and bottle bags, and people went nuts. They sold out in like 3 weeks. So it was really exciting. So we've done some wonderful stuff, and it really just boils down to fans of the Little Prince, and especially if we connect with fans on a partnership basis, they create these really magical things that people love, and they love them across generations, because parents want to pass down the values to their children. We do a lot of work, strangely, maybe not so strangely, in baby, because parents love the values so much and enjoyed it so much hearing it as a child or experiencing it as an adult, that they want to pass down the values and kind of impart them on their babies from birth. So we actually, we do a lot of really great baby product too, which is kind of fun.
That's awesome. So Trina, we're getting a couple questions around the toys here. So the first one is, it looked like there were some joints there in that it was movable. So could you talk a little bit about how the toy can move and be posed?
Yeah, well, he's fully articulated, if you didn't see completely from the photos. So he will be able to stand in whatever position you want to put him in. He'll be able to sit, lay down. He is jointed at the neck, torso, so he can bend and twist at his waist. His hips, his knees, his feet are on little balls, so they can move. I think that's it. Elbows, shoulders. Yeah, so he'll be able to pose in any way that you'd like, whether you want him to be reenacting a scene from the book, or if you just want to play with him doing whatever you'd like.
All right, great. And we have a question regarding the little moments that we showed. Specifically, when are we anticipating those to be available?
Those, well, depends on the sculpt time, the approval. Everybody's got to be in love with them before we can make them. But we're hoping Q2, shortly after the first figure.
Okay, great. And Jill, we have a question here for you. You know, the brands that you're handling have so much history. You talked a little bit about early on about how you pair them with the right company, but could you talk a little bit more? It looks like people are really interested in this process.
I would say the bulk of our business is finding licensed partners. So people that want to extend the brand into areas that are their specialty. So traditional licensing. And so I think, you know, we really look at it as a privilege to be working on such amazing heritage brands because, you know, with the Little Prince, as Tomas mentioned, is it's a multi-generational brand that is passed along and that has been in his family and has been touched by 75 years of marketers and partners and licensors and family members. And there's so much love that has gone into it that, you know, we really look for partners that are willing to treat it in the same way because these brands are just so special. You know, the Little Prince is not your typical property in any way. It's certainly being, you know, the most translated book in the world is unique and amazing and singular in and of itself. But then when you translate it into other properties and other brand extensions, it's so important because these products live forever. Even limited collections live forever because, like the Boss Fight fan base knows, these collectibles oftentimes are passed down throughout generations or shared from father to son or through siblings or things like that, that it's so important that that the products and the people are synonymous with the mission and the heritage of the Little Prince licensing team. So that's really, really important, you know, that we really try not to be in and out, one-off, you know, partners, that we really look to do large and small programs that really is, so long as they reflect and elevate the brand, then we like to work with them to be able to connect with, you know, help them connect with consumers.
And Katrina shared that her favorite licensed product is actually on the shelf behind you, Jill. The Little Prince statue that's behind you.
This is your favorite?
That's by far my favorite. I love him.
Prince. Yeah, he's very cool. Tomas actually gave him to me when I was in Paris last fall.
All right. So let's see. We have a question here that we kind of touched on a little bit through this, but maybe Tomas, you can kind of talk about this and fill out a little bit. We talked about the multi-generational and how people read this as a child and again as an adult. You know, why is that so important, and how do you guys feel about rereading throughout your life and how that brings different seasons in? So Tomas, maybe you could kick off and talk about how you feel about this rereading aspect continually.
Reading The Little Prince is always related to a memory. You know, in France, we usually say that, children read by themselves, which is not true. The Little Prince on their own when they're 6, but it's not happening. The first time you get you get The Little Prince is someone close reading it to you, your mother, your grandmother, someone close. So since it's a book you want to share, you share it and you give it to your son, to your grandson, and etc. That's something, it's magic. It's something that goes on. And when I first came in, 12 years ago, I was like, okay, everybody read the book, everybody has a copy at home, so we are done. We're not gonna get new readers. We're not gonna get new fans. But it's not true, because we get new fans every day on Instagram, on Facebook. We have something like 20 different pages, one in French, one in Spanish, one in English. And we have 10 million fans on Facebook, which is insane when you think about it. And on Instagram, we are getting new fans every day because we are very, very we are posting a lot, and it's expanding, it's growing because one new fan can buy the book and offer the book to 2 to 3 different people, and when you read the book, it goes on. That's how we get new fans, because when you read the book, your life is different.
And I do want to be respectful of everyone's time. I know we were trying to keep this to about 45 minutes, and that's right where we are. So I think that's actually a really great spot to kind of pause and say thank you to everyone for attending. Just a reminder that the first toy that you saw today is up for pre-order now on bossfightshop.com, as well as the raffle tickets over the next week for purchase to benefit the Ronald McDonald House of Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. So make sure you get over there, pre-order your figures, make sure you buy a couple raffle tickets. You could win that lovely prototype that's featured in all of the photos that you saw today. But I want to thank Thomas so much. This has been really educational to kind of hear your views and to get to know a little bit more of the heart of the story. So thank you so much. And Jill, thank you so much for joining us as well. This has been fantastic. And we hope that you guys will join us at our next Boss Fight Live event, which we will announce very soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for making such a great figurine, and I'm looking forward to actually play with it and collect it. And you did such a great job, so thank you for that.
Thanks, Thomas.
Yeah,
all right,
amazing.
and thank you, Trina, for sharing this. And thank all of you for attending. This has been fabulous and a great way to spend what's a Monday morning here in the Boston area for us. So thanks so much. We'll see you guys soon, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.